بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
So we see Allah is showing us that when we have difficulties and when we have trials and we have sabr and we have tawakkul and we have rida bil qada, we are pleased with Allah's decree and we have patience, Allah Azza wa Jal, those same predicaments that we're in, Allah can reverse it. And brothers and sisters, when we're reading the Quran is the formula of the world. The Quran is the guide of how to see the world. When we see our brothers and sisters in Palestine, keep this in mind. Don't look at what we see, the zahir, the zawahir. There's something, the batin, what's behind the curtain, what's behind in the hikmah and the ilm of Allah Azza wa Jal, that we cannot know. Just like in the story of Yusuf. Somebody might say, how can the Prophet of Allah be in dhillah? How can the Prophet of Allah be, left for dead? How can the Prophet of Allah be made a slave? But this was that Allah Azza wa Jal shows us how He can reverse every single situation. So don't look at the zahir and be judged that, oh, this is it, khalas. This is the end of it. This person is in a state of dhillah. This person is in a state of disgrace. This person is in a state of suffering. No, rather this is a test from Allah Azza wa Jal, that Allah wants to take this person from down to up. Allah wants to take him from this level to another level. And this is all in the hikmah, in the ilm, and the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that was the first stage. That was the hardships. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then in the second chapter, and the second stage of the life of Sayyidina Yusuf, Allah is giving him the thamara. Thamaratul tawakkul, thamaratul sabr, thamaratul rida. This is the fruits of patience. The fruits of suffering. The fruits of putting your trust in Allah. The fruits of relying upon Allah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then put him in power, put him in sulta. Now, we see, because there's the test of different characters, we see now the story of the brothers of Yusuf. That at the beginning, what are they? They are the aggressors. They're the persecutors. They're the aggressors. They're the oppressors. They are the aggressors. They are the oppressors. They are the persecutors. They are the bad guys in the beginning of the story. And Allah Azza wa Jal is giving them al-jaza min jinsil amal. Al-jaza'u min jinsil amal. Allah is giving them the same runaround they gave Yusuf. They're getting the runaround. The same predicament and dhillah they try to put Yusuf, they are going through the same dhillah. The same confusion and perplexity, right? That they put Yusuf, they are going to the same confusion. And Allah Azza wa Jal now, you can say, they're being paid back, right? And Allah Azza wa Jal is giving them what we call a taste of their own medicine. Now they're getting a taste of their own medicine. They lied. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, كَذَلِكَ كِدْنَا لِيُوسُفْ كَذَلِكَ كِدْنَا لِيُوسُفْ. This is how we plotted for Yusuf. And what did we say? How can Allah do kaid? How is this possible that we uses the word kaid for Allah Azza wa Jal? But again, Allahu yastahzi'u bihim. So it's using the word istihza for Allah. كَذَلِكَ كِدْنَا لِيُوسُفْ. And there's other words that are used similarly, right? So does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plot? Does Allah, وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ? So does Allah, there's like a negative connotation to makr, to kaid, to all of these words. Istihza, hal yastahzi? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yakid? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yastahzi? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yamkur? So the ulama mentioned, Allah does not do makr. And Allah does not do istihza. But this is Allah punishing them for their istihza. Because this is called al-jaza min jinsil amal. هذا من قبيل جزاء من جنس العمل. وليس حقيقة الله يستهزئ. Allah ليس بمستهزئ. Ta'ala Allah. Allah is not mustahzi or a mocker or a joker. Allah is joking with them. Allah is mocking them. Is it permissible for us to say Allah is a mocker? No. But what this is, as the ulama explain, this is the result of their actions. That just as they did mocking, Allah punishes them by giving them and putting them in a predicament that they will be mocked. Just as they plotted, Allah is putting them in a predicament that they will be plotted. Just as they planned and lied, Allah will put them in a predicament that they will be lied to by those around them. And this is a very great lesson for us, brothers and sisters. This is a very, very great lesson. The story of Yusuf, Allah Azza wa Jal says, إِبْرَةٌ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ مَا كَانَ حَدِيثًا يُفْتَرَى. This is a lesson for the people of intelligence. فِيهِ آيَاتٌ لِلسَّائِلِينَ. In it are signs for those who are asking questions. Why is the world like this? Why did the good people suffer? And why do the bad people, they always win? No, you don't, because you're not seeing the whole story. This is the reason. It's why the good people suffer and why the bad people always win. No, the bad people don't always win. You didn't see the end of the story. You ever seen the end of the story of bad people? They don't end well. Bad people's story doesn't end good. It ends very bad. So many of these people, subhanAllah, they either die of drug overdose or they die after years and years, it comes back at them. Some of these actors, some of these rappers, some of these people who are very famous, you think like, wow, this guy, he was my hero. In the end, he can't even walk to the court. He has like 15, 20, 30 accusations that he committed all of these crimes. Now it's coming back at him. At the end of his life, the guy can't even walk to court. He's 80 years old. How can a person commit these crimes and get away? Nobody gets away from the adl of Allah. Nobody gets away from the adl and from the justice of Allah. It might seem at that moment, so don't be the judge. You see something at that particular moment and then you're thinking, oh look, see, bad things are happening to good people. And see, these bad people, they keep doing bad things and then nothing happened. Oh no, something will happen. The story of Yusuf alayhi salam. How many years do you think? The Mufassirin mentioned 40 years passed. 40 years passed. So don't be in this mindset that, oh, nothing's happening. See, I can do whatever I want. I can do dhulm. I can do oppression. I can do aggression. And nothing's going to happen to me. Wallahi al-azim, it will happen. Because Allah is adl. Allah is hakam. And it will come. Just like we see in the story of Sayyidina Yusuf. Now, let's get back to where we are. فَلَمَّا دَخَلُوا عَلَيْهِ. Where were we at? The brothers went back to Egypt. The father said, okay, take a promise. You're not gonna, and then the whole situation happened where Allah Azza wa Jal plotted for them that they put the cup of the king in the luggage of Benjamin. I said, oh, see, your brother stole. It was made for them to be the same what they did to their father, and they lied so that they can get a taste of their own medicine. What is it like? Right? Understand the theme. There's a theme. There's a common mawdu' here that is, continuous. If you see like in each scenario, they're getting a taste of their own medicine in each scenario. فَلَمَّا دَخَلُوا عَلَيْهِ قَالُوا يَا أَيُّهَا الْعَزِيزِ. Now they enter, after getting the runaround, they went all the way to Canaan, and then they came all the way back. How long of a journey is that? From Canaan, Al-Quds al-Sharif, that area, right? From Maqdas, from Canaan all the way to Egypt. How many days journey on camel back? Probably weeks. Allahu Alam. Maybe a very long journey. Now they came back after such a long journey, getting the runaround. Ya ayyuhal aziz. Oh Aziz. Before they were putting him down, And they were calling him names. Now they're saying, Ya ayyuhal aziz, calling upon him, making istighatha. Massana wa ahlana ad-dur. Us and our families, we are suffering. Us and our families and you know that Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, Allahu Akbar, his father, we are suffering. We are in a famine. وَجِئْنَا بِبِضَاعَةٍ مُزْجَاتٍ. And there we have hardly anything to bring. بِضَاعَةٍ مُزْجَاتٍ. We have very meager goods. We hardly have anything that we have brought for you. فَأَوْفِ لَنَا الْكَيْلِ. Give us full measure. You are very generous. You said that if we are not able to bring so many things to trade with you, we are in a very difficult situation, but we know that you are very generous. فَأَوْفِ لَنَا الْكَيْلِ. Give us full measure. وَتَصَدَّقْ عَلَيْنَا. And be charitable to us. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَجْزِي الْمُتَصَدِّقِينَ. Verily, Allah rewards those who give charity. Imagine the condition that the sons of a Nabi and the family, Ali Yaqub, this is Ali Yaqub, how much Allah has now put them down that they're asking for sadaqah. They have become so lowered and they have become so humbled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that now they are literally, give us sadaqah. That's what, tasaddaq alayna. Give us sadaqah. Inna Allah yajzi al-mutasaddiqeen. That's what a beggar says. This is what they're literally now in the state of begging in front of Sayyidina Yusuf. And this is Allah Azza wanted them to be here. Allah wanted them to be so low that they are begging now. Now they are going to learn. In other words, those same people that were the aggressors, now those same people have been made the beggars. Brothers and sisters, subhanallah, fihi ayatul lis-sa'ilin, fihi ibratul li'ulil albab. These are signs for the people who have questions. And these are lessons for those who take heed. These people, وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامُ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. These days turn upon people. Those who are the aggressors and those who are oppressors and those who had the upper hand, they will be the ones who will be begging. It will come. Don't doubt it. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what Allah Azza wa Jalla is showing us. What goes around comes around. And the days they turn. Sayyidina Yusuf, imagine Yusuf alayhi salam on the throne, and Ali Yaqub, the brothers, who did all of these crimes. They committed all these crimes. They committed all these aggressions. They're saying, tasaddaq alayna. Please give something in Allah's name. Allah rewards the mutasaddiqeen. قَالَ هَلْ عَلِمْتُمْ مَا فَعَلْتُمْ بِيُوسُفٍ. Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, he could not even hold himself, seeing his brothers who are the sons of the prophets. And now, and remember, the ulama mentioned, Ibn Kathir rahimullah says, وَالظَّاهِرْ أَنَّ يُوسُف عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ إِنَّمَا تَعَرَّفَ إِلَيْهِمْ بِنَفْسِهِ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. Whatever Sayyidina Yusuf did, he now told about himself because of the order and permission of Allah. Right? So this is something that we have to understand, that whatever Sayyidina Yusuf did, right, he did it out of his obedience to the command of Allah. This was not something that he was planning and he was, doing this and that. This was all by Allah's permission. كما أنه إنما أخفى منهم نفسه في المرتين الأوليين بأمر الله تعالى له في ذلك. That also in the beginning 2 times when they had come and he hid himself, that hiding was by the command of Allah. That concealing was by the command of Allah. And this also now, Allah Ta'ala said, I think they've learned their lesson now. Now they have become so low that they are begging. Now Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala commanded him. And the first thing that he started with was what? قَالَ هَلْ عَلِمْتُمْ مَا فَعَلْتُمْ بِيُوسُفٍ. Do you remember what you did to Yusuf? Allahu Akbar. I want you to see the words of Sayyidina Yusuf. How Sayyidina Yusuf is speaking to the criminals and not one word that is negative is coming out of his mouth. Subhanallah. He didn't say, you are mujrimeen, you are zalimeen, you are whatever. Look at the words. He says, do you remember what you did to Yusuf at the time that you did not know? إِذْ أَنْتُمْ جَاهِلُونَ. You didn't know. You did it out of jahal. Subhanallah. Do you see what I'm saying? Yani, this is such a husnul dhan. Husnul dhan, yani a good opinion. He didn't even say, you did this to me knowingly. He said, do you remember what you did to Yusuf at that time when you were in the state of jahiliyyah? When you were unaware, you didn't know what you were doing. They knew exactly what they were doing. But the words of Sayyidina Yusuf is the focus here. إِذْ أَنْتُمْ جَاهِلُونَ. Jahilun, subhanallah, it's not a dham, actually. It's not a, how do you say, it's not a blame. Rather, it's the best word that you can use for someone to tell them, you did this and you didn't know what you were doing. I don't blame you. Because whatever you did it because of jahal. Subhanallah. قالوا أئنك لأنت يوسف? Are you Yusuf? Is it really you? قال أنا يوسف وهذا أخي. I am Yusuf and this is my brother Binyamin. قد من الله علينا. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showered His blessings upon us. Allah favored us. إنه من يتقي ويصبر فإن الله لا يضيع أجر المحسنين. Look at what He says again. When Allah ta'ala took him out of the prison, He says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And He said, the lesson that I want you to learn, مَنْ يَتَّقِي وَيَصْبِرْ. The one who's constantly aware of Allah, conscious of Allah, obedient to Allah, and he has patience. Then for that person, no matter what he goes through, no matter what tribulation he goes through, no matter what hardship he goes through, you know what? Allah in the end will reward them. Allah in the end will make them victorious. مَنْ يَتَّقِي وَيَصْبِرْ. That is why our brothers and sisters, wherever they are who are suffering, as long as they have taqwa and as long as they have sabr. Taqwa means that in that situation they will not disobey Allah. And sabr means that they will stay firm upon their iman. They will stay firm upon their deen. They will not leave. Their iman actually becomes even stronger. So when we are in calamities and difficulties, what should we do? We should have taqwa and we should have sabr to not disobey Allah Azza wa Jal. Because shaitan comes to you. You're going through a difficulty. Yeah, come on. Let's get drunk. You'll get some friends that'll come over. Oh, you're going through a really, really difficult time. Come on, let's have a drink. Let's have a smoke. Let's have a drink. Let's just relax. When we have a smoke and a drink, we're just going to relax. You're going through a very hard time. No, yattaqi wa yasbir. When you're going through a hard time, don't let that hard time make you go against taqwa. Stay on the path of taqwa. Don't fall into the trap of shaitan that makes you now say, well, I'm going through all these hardships. Oh, I'm going through so much hardship in my life. I'm going to take off my hijab. Just my life is so difficult right now. I'm just going to take off my hijab. Oh, my life is so difficult right now. I'm just not going to pray. I'm going to leave salah. I'm going to leave my prayer. I'm just really stressed out right now in my life. I'm just trying to get my things together. Get your things together by tariq salah? By tarkus salah, how are you going to get your things together? How are you going to, this is taqwa. Taqwa means, and sabr, you don't give up. You don't leave the command of Allah. Subhanallah, there was a sister in the earthquake in Turkey. There was a woman in the earthquake in Turkey. Subhanallah, she was caught under a house. And brothers, this is in a situation that we are in. This is like, these are, they say, الضرورات تبيح المحظورات. الضرورات تبيح المحظورات. A person is in a darura, they're in a difficulty. This will permit certain things that might not be halal. You're in a difficulty. But this sister, look at what we're talking about. The house had fallen, and the ambulance people, they're like, sister, give us your hand, we're going to pull you out. She said, no, first give me something to cover my head because my head is uncovered. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah. She said, no, give me a hijab, give me something, give me a shawl, because I don't want to come out and the men are going to see my hair. The men are going to see me. Yani, in that situation, if the men were to see her, or if she came out like that, subhanallah, she's ma'dhur. She's ma'dhur. She's forgiven. It's not a sin. But innahu man yattaqi wa yasbir. That even when you are in that situation, to not forget the command of Allah Azza wa Jal. This is taqwa. That you're in that predicament, or you're in that situation, to not forget the command of Allah. Not to put yourself in a situation, oh, I'm stressed out right now, so I'm just gonna throw it all off, get drunk, no. This is a trick of the nafs, that it comes out now. All of the desires and all of the temptations that you are fighting, now it becomes, actually what's in the heart comes out in the predicaments and in the calamities. What was truly in the heart comes out when you are in calamities. So Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling us, Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam is saying, إِنَّهُ مَن يَتَّقِي وَيَصْبِرْ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيءُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Anybody who has the fear and the consciousness of Allah and has patience, right? Allah will never waste and ruin their reward. قَالُوا تَاللَّهِ لَقَدْ آثَرَكَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْنَا. Oh, our brother, by Allah, Allah has chosen you above us. You are better than us. We did wrong. إِنَّا كُنَّا لَخَاطِئِينَ وَإِن كُنَّا لَخَاطِئِينَ. And definitely we were from the wrongdoers. So now they've admitted. And Sayyidina Yusuf, he is the hakim. And they admitted to their wrong. So now is the time for the punishment. When you're in front of the judge, and the judge is giving the judgment, and he said, do you remember what you did? Where were you on August 15th, 2020, on this day when this person was shot? I was there. You did it, I did it. Now you're waiting for the judge's judgment. وَإِن كُنَّا لَخَاطِئِينَ. Yes, you're right. Allah chose you, O Yusuf. And we are the wrongdoers. We committed this act. So now, what were they expecting from Sayyidina Yusuf? They're going to get the judgment now. Allah Azza wa Jalla, subhanallah, قَالَ لَا تَثْرِيبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْيَوْمِ. قَالَ لَا تَثْرِيبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْيَوْمِ. Sayyidina Yusuf said, there is no blame upon you this day. There is no sin upon you. There is no blame upon you. There is no harm upon you this day. يَغْفِرُ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ وَهُوَ أَرْحَمُ. May Allah forgive you. May Allah forgive you, and He is the most merciful of those who show mercy. Allahu Akbar. This is now the power of justice and the power of, this is in reality, it's fadl. One is adl, one is fadl. Allah Azza wa Jal showed them His adl. Allah showed them His justice. How? By giving them the runaround. They tasted their own medicine. They got a taste of their own medicine. They got the runaround. But in the end, because they admitted, and because they're Ali Yaqub, and because Sayyidina Yusuf, this whole is a teaching, it's a demonstration of the akhlaq of Islam. And who did this? Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In Fath Makkah, he did the same thing. When all of the Quraysh, they said, Al-yawm yawmul malhama. Oh Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we did you wrong. Now take your revenge. Kill us. And he says, La, al-yawm yawmul marhama. La tathriba alaykum al-yawm. No, this day is the day of mercy. There's no blame on you this day. اذهبوا فأنتم الطلقاء. Go, all of you are free. Go, all of you are free. فكأنما خرجوا. They say فكأنما خرجوا من القبور. They say as if they came out of their graves. Right? Subhanallah. وهو أرحم الراحمين.